Hello, everybody. How are you? Beautiful sunny day in Pittsburgh, and this is a community spotlight, a series of videos we're doing on communities in the Pittsburgh area. This time we're going to be talking about Pitcairn, and Pitcairn is on the south side, sort of in the Monroeville area, but south of the city proper, the city center. And by the way, congratulations to the Steelers for winning a game. Hey, I'm not laughing. I'm a Browns fan. We got we got skunked by the Seahawks. But hey, as I understand it, the Steelers quarterback was unsigned unsigned rookie. So I don't follow it that close. I'm way too busy. But congratulations, Steelers. So this community spotlight on Pitcairn is very interesting because Pitcairn, like many communities in the Pittsburgh area, was founded in the 1700s, 1749, settled in 1730, and incorporated in 1743, okay? And the reason that it's an interesting community is it's how it evolved and how its name kind of developed, not its name, but its reputation. And that is that it was one of the first communities to have mailboxes. It's semi-rural. Now, once you get down to the southern edge of the Pittsburgh area, metro area, the communities, as in any other community, any other city, they'll start to get more rural. And especially back in those days, this part of town way out here was, the wild country. Okay, that could have been its A&E show, Wild Country. And, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to get mail. So they developed the mailbox out here. It was one, and now the mailbox was developed already in other areas, but you never really saw them on country roads. Okay, most of the time people in the country back in those days, they would go into town to get their mail. But Pitcairn, there was a couple of people. There was Dolores Galarny and then her friend Meredith Avastalicha. I'm not sure the heritage of that name, but they said, why are we going into town? Why are we riding all the way to Monroeville on horseback to get our mail? Let's put a box out by the road and then ask the U.S. Post Office, when they ride by on their horse, just put it in the box. Why do so there was one of the first times that you started to see demands by the mailing public that services come to them. And you start to see that. You see that development to this day with the rise of e-commerce and people using the mail to order all kinds of things. Some people never leave their house. They just order online through Amazon and other services. And I know people that order a ton of stuff and never open it. You go in their house, there's 100, 200, 300, 1,000 boxes. You could build a chair out of the boxes, or a sofa, or you could just build all kinds of furniture out of the boxes that are unopened from stuff that they've ordered online. And you could say that Pitcairn played a major role in that, at least for rural communities. It just didn't happen. You didn't have, even though people had addresses and got mail, they couldn't get it delivered out to where they lived. It just didn't happen in these kind of communities. So Pitcairn was the first, and the mailbox was an unknown, the rural mailbox out by the road. Well, that was unknown. They had them in the city. You could walk, the mail person would walk along the streets of Philadelphia or whatever and drop letters in the box, but not out in the country. And so Pitcairn developed not only the idea of the mailbox, those two ladies, but also the design of the mailbox. And in fact, Dolores and Meredith went into business, developing the Pitcairn Mailbox Company. And it was a hit. The ladies were a hit. And as I've often said, if you want something done right, you got to give it to a woman because they take the time. They don't have the ego. They get along with each other, although sometimes they can not get along. But for the most part, they get along. And they've removed the emotion from the business, and they are able to build it slowly. They don't try to put their ego on the line and make grandiose claims that they can't back up. They just build it slowly, steadily, and sure enough, to this day, Pitcairn mailboxes are some of the most revered in the mailbox industry. You could go to Home Depot and get a Pitcairn mailbox, but let me tell you right now, it's not your mass-produced mailbox made in some foreign land. It's made in America, and guys, you better bring your checkbook because they're pricey. I don't get sponsored by them. I don't get anything from them, so I'm free to say they are not cheap. But you do get a mailbox that can withstand the weather, withstand vandalism. Let me put it to you this way. There was a news story recently of a car that tried to drive along the roads of Monroeville and mow down the rural mailboxes, mow them down. It was a car they didn't care about, an old 1967 Ford LTD going 75 miles an hour along the rural roads of Monroeville with one thing in mind, one goal, and that was to mow down mailboxes in quantity, in bulk. And so they had reinforced the bumper of this 1967 blue Ford LTD with concrete in order to get a crisp, clean bash and let the mailbox go flying over the top of the car as they proceeded forward at 75 miles per hour. Well, guess what? They didn't count on many of those houses over there in Monroeville having Pitcairn mailboxes that they bought at the Home Depot and other outlets. You can even buy them direct from the company online, or if you want, you can come to the factory over here in Pitcairn and see the mailboxes made. You can have a mailbox made, you can order a custom mailbox, and you can watch your own mailbox being made in the factory. And what happened when this car contacted the Pitcairn mailbox at over 75 miles an hour? Guys, it split the car down the middle. The Ford LTD was split down the middle. The mailbox didn't move. And in fact, sliced the car in half. They were traveling so fast, it sliced the car in half. The driver went another 3 miles, without the right side of the vehicle. The driver's car split in half, and his half drove by itself under speed for another 3 miles on 2 wheels. And the right-hand side of the car, the passenger side of the car, that split in half, and now it took the most brunt because it started to fly through the yards and lawns and gardens of the neighborhood. And it flew through 27 houses until it flew through the air, having hit a ramp created by the tricycles that were left in the driveway of the Johnson house. They flew through the air over another 6 houses and landed in the backyard pool of the Smiths. And that is when they knew that their Pitcairn mailbox was the greatest investment they ever made, that family. Because somebody tried to mow it down, and instead their mailbox cut a Ford LTD in half, leading to the double accident and eventual arrest of the vandals. Guys, it's another amazing story from the book of Pittsburgh. And I appreciate you stopping by for this parody video. Come on, guys. Come on back, guys. Come on back. We're going to have so many more community spotlights and amazing stories like the Pitcairn Mailbox Company and the Ford LTD being split right in two.